Are you ready? 3, 2, 1. I got 10 tips for you to become a successful writer. Before that, I want to tell you the story of Édouard Louis, a French writer who, at only 21 years old, sold more than 250,000 copies in some months with his debut novel. Is that a lot? It is the dream of even a well-known writer. Édouard Louis became something close to an instant phenomenon in France. We all can learn something from his story, because the next literary phenomenon could be you. I am Hugo Marroquín. I want you to discover content that an algorithm won't give you. Also, amazing people, creators, books, podcasts, videos, movies, or interesting articles found on the international press. This is a trilingual podcast. Every episode is recorded in Spanish and French too. You are welcome to practice those languages with me. The written version in the 3 languages can be found on my blog, hugomarroquin.com. If you wish to support this podcast, just subscribe, follow, share it, or leave a comment. There is no small gesture. Whatever you do is too great. This is Season 2 of Hugo Marroquín Podcast, a trilingual podcast. Working in the publishing industry for more than 10 years and as a published author with 2 novels, many people have asked me for the keys to succeed. If I had those keys, probably I'd be elsewhere. So, I have no intention to give you a magic recipe just to get you listening. Let's be honest. There are many unpredictable and sometimes inexplicable factors that define success. Also, there's opportunity, marketing, and even money. Is success high sales? Is it celebrity? Each one would have their own definition. So by looking at Édouard Louis' stories, we all can learn something and think about an idea of the success we dream of. A few years after Édouard Louis' arrival, not only he has sold thousands of copies, but he has been translated into many languages. His book had been adapted to stage plays, where he has even made his debut as a performer. Louis recorded himself the English spoken audiobook of one of his works, and recently has announced the adaptation of his books into television series format. Quite a phenomenon and a symbol of success. A little bit of my story with him. In 2015, I read his first book, The End of Eddie. In 2016, when he visited the Bogotá International Book Fair, I attended a lecture he did in an independent bookstore. Then, in 2019, while I was visiting Paris, I attended a reading he did along the extraordinary Emmanuel Béard regarding a translation we made of Anne Carson's play, Antigonic. And of course, I have read his other books during this time. Being all that said, let's begin. First, he was not afraid to show what the French hide. First, I get from Édouard Louis the country he portrays. The image of France, that is, traveling abroad, is often the one written, filmed, or recorded by the French bourgeoisie, their intellectuals, their privileged classes. I think much of what France means as a cliché, of course, is found on those products. Édouard Louis was born and raised in Picardy, a region in the northwest. Not that far in distance from Paris, but really far away in terms of economics, education, and opportunities. The release of his first book, The end of Eddie was so threatening for the establishment that many of them were skeptical about the experiences Louis wrote because they seemed excessive and even real for them. Anyway, we love operations, but some of them don't go beyond the peripheric. Edouard Louis made visible the darkest sides and shadows of his own family. This was not only of them, though. It was about thousands of people in so many places that reflect in his telling. Second, he invented himself and found a spotlight in the scene. Édouard Louis invented himself in 2013 when he officially adopted this name and left behind his birth name, Eddie Bellegueule. Within the French culture, the name Eddie can be associated to a working class person or as part of a non-privileged origin. And the last name could be understood in a funny way. Belle as beautiful and girl as face. Something like Eddie Beautiful Face. On the other hand, Édouard Louis chose the autobiography to express and expand. He has addressed his own identity, the violence of a system, the history of his father and masculinities, up to the emancipation of his mother in his most recent work. With a deep, raw, brave, and even compassionate look, he got a well-deserved spotlight in the literary scene. Louis knows, explains, and fights a long-established system that could have gave him another destiny. Third, he betrayed everyone. With the end of Eddie, Édouard Louis has betrayed everyone, his family, his community, even his non-written destiny. The most complicated thing about autobiographical writing is to tell things the way they felt, as pure emotions, without fear of what people would say or what they would think. And Louis did it with such frankness, with such harshness, that he has left them all exposed, naked. There is no possible writing that gets to be comfortable, pretty, and also express the real nature of emotions. Real writing hurts, even when you read. I reached out some readers of Édouard Louis over Twitter and asked them, from your personal point of view, what had made him as successful as he is? I have one answer here from user at Colette says, I believe that Mr. Louis' success lies on his personal experience at the service of contemporary collective history. He has given a new dissection of violence for us readers hungry for a realistic approach to society without the traditional romanticization of life. As he himself says, I don't like literature which is a mere exercise of style. I had political reasons for writing my book. The war of my childhood was absent from literature. I try to include in literature what literature excludes. The other answers I got will be available on my blog. And now, as I promised, I got some tips to become a successful writer before 30, and they work pretty well if you are 40, 50, or 60, all the same. 1. Read a lot. During your writing process, read whatever is related or has a dialogue with your writing. Learn from others. Be inspired by others. 2. Have goals but be flexible. Writing is a habit. It is not a weekend project. Words need to rest, to lay, to age. So don't get anxious about time. Enjoy the ride because you'll get there. 3. Be an observer. Look closely to the world around you. Observe it and give it words. If you are writing fiction, give words to sensations. If it is non-fiction, observe as a scientific could do. 4. Spend time thinking about how to achieve an emotional connection between your characters and your potential readers. The better your reader's experience is, the more likely he or she would recommend it. And nothing is more powerful than word of mouth. 5. Write faithfully. Work in every sentence. Publishing is not about giving your manuscript away to the publisher to write it. They, of course, will help you to improve it. But first and foremost, it is up to you, because a writer is made in his or her pen, not in that of an editor's assistant. 6. Don't be afraid to start with yourself, because as in life itself, before criticize others, first look inside you. Start with the questions that make you uncomfortable. Face your true hidden motivations. Don't be afraid to betray everyone, to invent yourself. 7. Understand the basics of the publishing industry. Go to bookstores, visit a book fair, follow social handles that talk about books, watch booktubers, listen to podcasts on books, look for the publisher that already published similar works to yours. 8. Listen. Share your idea or manuscript with people you trust and have some knowledge of the subject. There's no point in sharing a novel with someone who never reads novels, or an academic essay with someone who is not used to this kind of reading. Find the right person and listen to what they have to say. 9. Don't believe in magic formulas or catchy titles like How to Be a Successful Writer Before 30. Start by writing. Keep writing. Write from your heart, with all your soul, with courage, with intelligence, with discipline. 10. And remember that extraordinary life stories have no age. You can be one. Thank you for listening. Over social networks, you'll find me as Hugo Marroquín. If you want to visit my website, add .com to my name in your browser, without space, of course. Thank you for listening. Over social networks, you'll find me as Hugo Marroquín. If you want to visit my website, add .com to my name in your browser, without space, of course. If you want to chat with me, write me over Facebook or Instagram. I love entertainment, communication, new narratives, storytelling, and content formats. And whether you listen on Spotify, Deezer, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, Amazon Music, or YouTube, please share it with someone. And remember that with any smart home assistant like Alexa, Google Home, or Siri, just ask to play Hugo Marroquín podcast. The next episode is about the same subject but totally spoken in French, as the one before is in Spanish. And then I have a new topic. Sneak peek. I am Mexican and I have been many times in Cancun, Tulum, and Playa del Carmen, so I have some local secrets to share with you. Thank you for listening, and I look forward to listen from you.